Hello, I am Josh Gothier, and I'm here with Claire Guyton. We are the co-organizers of Local Writers Read. For those who are not familiar, Local Writers Read is a literary reading series that we started in the Lewis and Auburn area, featuring Maine writers of varying genres and backgrounds. And we are very happy to have with us today Anne Elliot, as we are partnering once again with LA Arts for their art walks. So Claire, do you want to talk a little bit about the series that we're running this time?
Yes, thank you. In our virtual art walk videos for 2021, we're turning our spotlight on last year's Maine Literary Award finalists and winners of the various short works categories. We're not sure how many videos we'll be able to include in this series, but for now we're focusing on short works because these authors haven't received as much attention as the finalists and winners of the book awards. Our mission at Local Writers Read is to build community around good writing. So increasing the visibility of lesser known Maine writers is one of our priorities. Basically, I think we're saying we want to spread the love around a little bit more. And speaking of love, we happen to be kicking off this series with my favorite category, short fiction, which brings me to our guest, Anne, who was a finalist for her story, Black, Black, Red, Black. She's going to read an excerpt for us, and then we'll chat a little bit. So Anne, whenever you're ready.
Thank you so much, Claire and Josh and LA Arts, for inviting me to participate in a virtual art walk. I think it's a great idea and I'm thrilled to participate. So I'll let you know a little bit ahead of this story that there are some italicized interludes in this story that are flash forwards with the narrator's therapist. So you're going to be able to figure that out, I think, as I read. But I'm not going to be setting that off in any way. Okay, this is the beginning of Black, Black, Red, Black. The steps of the quay drop right into the gray-green water. She says she wants to descend those steps into the cold rush like her favorite writer, pockets full of rocks. Since we were kids, she talks like this, strolls along edges and fake laughs. I don't slap her, not anymore. Now I push the counter idea. I want to descend the staircase nude, cubist, flattened and orange, with my nose over there and my hip up here. Rebecca swats the back of my head. Sarah, really, make it yours. You're filling your pockets with rocks, I tell her. That's not yours. They're my souvenirs, she says. I don't say. I'm done saying. Hers, not hers. They are weighing her down. Everything she touches weighs her down. Down is where she looks nowadays. She scans the gravel for souvenirs, misses the monuments. She misses the meringues too. Jumbo, pillowy meringues, a window full of them in Easter-colored drifts. Becky, look, I say, look up. She does not look up. She snatches a rock from the ground and rubs the dust off with her thumb. The rock is crusty white, like the hilltop cathedral behind her. She holds it up and squints like a drawing student comparing it to the domes. Look, a scale model, she says. It is not a scale model. It is a rock. She spits shines the rock, getting dust on her thumb, then drops the find in her overcoat pocket. She scans the gravel for another. I step to the shop to buy a cookie. What color you want? Color, not flavor? That's not an answer, I say. I don't wait for an answer. I buy her a yellow to eat with her dirty fingers. The sky darkens, then opens up. Umbrellas dot the air over our sidewalk. Black, black, red, black. Up the hill, the cathedral weeps salt. I'm going inside, I say. There are saints I want to see. I want the high shelter, the placid faces overhead, the halos. I'm staying out here, my sister says. I don't want to get converted. They can't make you believe anything you don't want to. A puddle forms around her feet where the street won't drain. You believe everything, she says. At our hotel, she pops Ambiens with a plastic cup of box wine. Her poisons are many and they make her snore. I poke her softly in the shoulder with a knitting needle and sometimes she quiets. I am up. I watch erotic chocolate commercials. I watch French people competing at ciphers. I understand nothing. I knit a row and another. I look at the code in my pattern book. I lose a stitch and I unravel and I roll the ball back up. It is bright red. She hates this color. A man on the television wins a cipher. A bell dings. The host smiles and congratulates. The studio audience smiles and congratulates. They love the cipher and how it was put into order. I love how they love the cipher. We eat croissants and pain au chocolat in the breakfast room. Becky stares at the raindrops trailing down the window. She gulps her strong coffee. I sip and page through my guidebook. Where should we go today? Left bank? Right bank? Oh, something sculpture related, no doubt, she says into her bowl of coffee. Or churchy. We really need to see more churches. Here, I say, and hand her the guide. She doesn't accept the guide. She keeps both hands on her coffee bowl. Well, then what? She takes the book from my hands finally. She flips through, looking at pictures, not reading. She closes her eyes, fans the pages like playing cards, pokes her finger in at random, and points to a page, eyes still closed. There, we'll go there. I used to have this fantasy about her death. Go on. She dies in her sleep. Nothing violent or intentional. How does it feel? I can't describe it. Sarah, your thoughts can't hurt anybody. You sure about that, Irv? I don't feel comfortable talking about this. You came here to feel comfortable, to talk about the weather? Yes, I came here to talk about the weather. Is there weather in your fantasy? Yes, actually. Maybe it's raining, like Paris during Lent. Did it rain when you and she went to Paris? It rained every goddamn day. The cemetery is cobblestone lanes flanked by miniature chapels. In the wet air, moss turns a deep green between chunks of granite. Maybe today will be beautiful. We touch the shiny black marble over Edith Piaf. We say hello to Proust and Céline and Balzac. Becky points to a bronze figure, a young female nude draped with a flowing metal sheet and dripping with green patina. Look, it's like she's knocking on that headstone like she wants in. She must be 100 years old, I say. She'll be here for at least 100 more, if no one bombs this place. Yes, if no one bombs this place. Becky looks up at the sky, and I'll stop there.
Thank you, Anne. That was it's always so much fun to listen to people sharing their work. Okay, so for our first question, do you mind just talking a little bit about the origins of the story, what inspired it, or just where the idea came from?
Sure. I shot a photograph of the steps leading down into the River Seine when I was in Paris. And I was just looking at this photograph and came up with that first line. And the whole story basically issued out of the first line, where she's looking at these steps going right down into the water, and just kind of recycling characters from other stories and trying to generate conflict with these characters from other stories.
Just a wonderful thought to think of. I mean, that's happened to me too. Just winding a story out from just one sentence or one image or one line of dialogue. I love that. So why don't you take this opportunity to let us know what you're working on right now?
I'm working on a series of stories about an American art historian who's obsessed with European portraiture, and she's traveling in Europe by herself for the first time, seeing paintings that she's been teaching for years and years, and she's having all kinds of memories triggered by these paintings. So I've been doing a lot of online research about mostly Dutch portraiture. And I love the research. So.
Right. And kind of following up on our overall goal to spread the love to the short form a little bit. Can you recommend either a short story or a short fiction author that you would just really recommend to people?
So I recently came across this story, What I Did on the Moon by Dean Bacopoulos, and it's in the Leon Literary Review. And it's a story about a divorced or soon to be divorced dad. I'm just looking at my notes here. He lives on the moon, which is kind of maybe a literalized metaphor. You know, at first you're not sure if he truly lives on the moon or if this is a dream, or if you know. So it's kind of, it inhabits this interesting space of metaphor, but it's a great embodiment of his loneliness and the kind of limbo that he's in as he's missing his children and trying to figure out who he is as a single guy. So highly recommended. It's very short. You can read it and reread it and reread it the way you can with very, very short stories. And it's a lot of beautiful short sentences as well, which I admire.
Sounds fantastic. I have a habit of reading any story that I absolutely love, or any story that's really short that I really, really like as well. I will read it 3 times in a row. So I want to say this again for listeners, so to make sure that they get this. The story is called What I Did on the Moon, and it's at Leon Literary Review. That's Leon, Leon, literaryreview.com in issue 5. And I just checked, it happens to be linked to the homepage right now if you go to it. So thank you so much for recommending that. And thank you so much for launching this series with us. It was such a pleasure to have you here.
Well, this was really fun, and I didn't even have to put on my coat to go out or go out in any inclement weather. So it's an interesting kind of art walk here.
That's right. That's the silver lining, is we all can just like go have a nice cup of coffee or something and snuggle with the cat now.
But I can't wait to come up and go to the real art walk.
Yeah, me too. You can say that again.
So thank you, Anne. And as always, thank you to LA Arts for giving us the opportunity to be part of this. And thank you to everyone who tuned in for this digital art walk. Be sure to check out the other videos and come back next month for another author spotlight and lots more art walk fun. But until then, thank you for coming by.
Thank you.